Welcome back. So let's get to that very controversial issue that emanated at the Senate hearing yesterday at the Ethics Committee hearing concerning the sexual harassment allegation preferred against the Senate President Godswill by suspended Senator Natasha-Akpabio. We're being joined in the program by the Executive Director of CISLAC, that's the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Mr. Awal Rafsanjani. He joins us via virtually. Mr. Rafsanjani, good morning and welcome to the program. I'm not sure why you're smiling, but maybe we'll find out exactly why you're smiling. But it appears that a lot of people, especially women right now, are not smiling as far as what played out is concerned. But maybe your general interpretation of what you saw built to the crescendo that we saw yesterday at the hearing of the Ethics Committee.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. We just concluded the CSW in Washington, New York, United States of America, at the United Nations, where we reviewed the status of women politically, economically, socially, and one of the major concerns that have been expressed in this whole week or 2 weeks meeting in New York is the constant attack and repression against women. And when we saw what was going on in Nigeria, we reflected on it. We have come a long way in Nigeria battling against marginalization, against political ambush and elbow against women who wanted to seek leadership position to participate in governance. We have seen this, clear exclusion. We have seen this deliberate attempt to bully, attack, repress, abuse, blackmail women who wanted to contribute to, development of our country. But this is not going to continue because the whole world has actually moved, and we cannot, in this era, allow those patriotic, or rather, those kind of unpatriotic, element to continue to undermine a huge constituency that are actually adding value in our development space in Nigeria. So when we saw the drama in the National Assembly, first, we know that something was going to happen. When someone, was, accused, or someone was, presenting an issue that is very, very important, that anywhere in the world where you mention this kind of thing must be given attention to. And you want to brush it, or you want to keep it aside, you want to silence and bully the person that made that complaint, we know that there's a problem. Secondly, we know that the Senate in particular is supposed to be a chamber of distinguished, respected members of the Nigerian society. And therefore, it is expected of them to act in a manner that will give confidence on Nigerians that they are out there to make justice, and that they're out there not to turn a very serious allegation into a joking matter. When we saw all those things were going, and the kind of attack that was coming to this particular female senator, we were worried and concerned, because already women have continued in this country to suffer from, domination and calculated attempt by some politicians to even not allow women to participate in anything, that has to do with the leadership position. So the little numbers of women that we have there, you bully them, you blackmail them, you shut them up, and that is sending a very, very, very terrible message. Now, what we expected from this distinguished Senate was to say that, okay, this allegation was made, we are going to allow a committee that is trusted not to be biased, but to be neutral. That's the ethics committee, if at all it is neutral or it is unbiased, to listen to this complaint, but it was shut down. Secondly, you see the fraud in which it was even, the committee submitted its own report, where some senators later on came to say that they did not sign. That created confidence crisis. Again, now, when this, senator was wrongly suspended, even the person that was accused was the one who presided over the judgment, and the whole thing, the whole world saw how the.
Mr. Rafsanjani, if I may come in before my colleagues will throw in more questions. And I think they had mentioned that the case is sub judice according to their rule, I think 40 or so. They can't speak on issues that are in court. And then they said the people, counsel did not trust them to be able to, be fair as far as this case is concerned. But there's something that is going on. If you speak to women, a lot of women feel that the Senate is hostile to them. They feel that the Senate is not friendly to women. But the Senate keeps denying that, look, that's not true. So is the Senate living in denial? I'll give you an example. When Senator Natasha-Akpabio, before her suspension, that outburst, you hear people say, oh, I even heard people on television saying, what she did, she should have done this, should have done that. She's limiting the opportunity for women. There are few women, and now this is even making it less for them in terms of opportunity of entry. But what happened yesterday with Senator Nwebonyi, who I understand later say was sorry for his outburst, nobody will say, oh, it will deny men opportunity to come into the Senate for his conduct. So it's like, whether we like it or not, we are so patriarchal that unconsciously, if we're not careful, we're hostile to women. How can we help the Senate to understand that this is the message they've sent to the public and it has to be corrected?
Well, I think the senators, they know the implication now because they have seen the public, views and the public anger about the conduct, in which this whole issue is, malhandled in the Senate. The Senate knows that reputation-wise, it has suffered incredible damage of reputation globally, regionally, and nationally. And therefore, all the members of the Senate in Nigeria, who participated in this ambush and this, attempt to, silence a voice, I think they know that there's a repercussion for that because some of them are coming out to say, look, I did not participate in this. So which means that they know that there's something negative that has happened and that there's need to urgently correct this. Look, the way and manner in which the Nigerian legislature under this leadership of Akpabio had actually submitted itself, first to the executive and even its own conduct by always, when there's any contrary view expressed, you will rush to say you want to suspend. Natasha was like the third person so far that has been suspended. If you remember, 2 other previous senators were suspended for expressing contrary views. I don't think this is how the legislature should operate. The legislature, is supposed to be a responsible body that accommodates various views, of various members, because you have different political parties. Even every member there, every senator is equal, irrespective of the fact that some are principal officers. That one is just an opportunity, but everybody is equal. So you got to respect one another. You must do things in a manner that you allow people to express their view without sanctioning them, without attacking them, without bullying them, without trying to, make it look like if you are saying anything that I did not agree, we are going to deal with you. I think if you continue in that way, a lot of Nigerians will lose respect, and a lot of members, even within the Senate itself, will not be able to participate fully in the legislative processes,
All right.
in
Mr.
the Senate.
Rafsanjani,
So there's
if I
a
may
huge
come in here,
implication.
indeed, a couple of points made, but in this 10th Senate, only 2 have been suspended so far. Senator Natasha-Akpabio and, of course, Senator Abdul Ningi. The last that was suspended before that was, I know Senator Alim Dume was meant to be suspended, but he escaped it, but he was removed from the presiding office role that he had. Right? But before that, that's the previous Senate. We had seen Senator Vio Mwagige, even though he went to court. We'd seen also Senator Ali Ndume actually was suspended in 2017. But in this 10th Senate, just to be clear, only Senator Abdul Ningi and Senator Natasha-Akpabio. But listening also to the senators, at least some of the committees, particularly for the hearing of those allegations, they said that they've given her the opportunity to appear once, yesterday, the second time. So when people say fair hearing, they ask, what more should they have done, bearing in mind that there are rules that guide the Senate. And the idea is you saw an oath to abide by those rules, and it's the rules that guide what they do. But in terms of fair hearing, what does fair hearing look like to you beyond asking her to appear before the committee that is looking into those issues once, twice, which, by the way, she didn't attend? So what does fair hearing look like for you?
So whatever Senate rules you have, it cannot supersede the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let us also have that very clear. Secondly, Nigerians have freedom of expression. And for that matter, a senator, a colleague, you cannot, throw those kind of words and those kind of ambush and expect anybody to think that there will be any fair hearing. The Senate spokesperson was on Channel TV and many other television stations. And other senators who were in support of Akpabio's action already lambasting and attacking her. How do you think she will ever believe that there will be justice to her? And when the committee, fabricated signatures and said that this is the position that the committee has come up, and when the accused person, himself presided and making kachkara of the board, of people who are in support of certain action or who are not in support of certain action, I think even the Senate itself, I believe, they did not know that there would be this global backlash on this matter, because they were more of like taking it like a joke, and this went beyond control. So the incredible damage it has caused to the nation, the action that the Senate has done on this, it has caused a lot of bad reputation, and people who believe that the Senate is supposed to be matured, responsible, and with open mind, broad mind, being that it is a legislature that is known to be barbarian, to be agreeing and disagreeing. So you need to accommodate various views and interests, and you want to cage everybody. You want everybody to be only on your own line of action. How will anybody think that there will be any justice? And moreover, many of them have already tried and jailed this woman in that same Senate. And you think she will ever have any mind to believe that she will be given fair hearing, when already a committee that is supposed to be a very neutral, very responsible committee had already done what they are not supposed to do? Because the least that committee can do is to do that kind of publication, and members came out to say, look, I did not sign. I did not, endorse this punishment or this action. Already you have created dispute. You have already created, a kind of lack of confidence in the whole process. So I think what I believe should be done, first and foremost, like we said, the action they have taken is unconstitutional, and it has no any place in our constitution. And even within the legislative practice, there's nowhere where the legislative practice say that you should go and suspend an elected distinguished senator, deprive that constituency from being represented in the legislature. There's no space, and already different court judgment based on the previous legislators that also suffer such kind of suspension had already been established that you cannot suspend anybody. So with all this, in place, and with also the determination by some people sponsoring to go and do recall on her. Look, I think we need to do something really seriously to save the image of our legislature and also save the image of the country in general. Because there's nowhere in this world that you'll be openly attacking women like this. Even the sitting of yesterday, you saw the kind of agitation,
Indeed.
the kind of exchanges that happened. It didn't show regard and respect, at least if not for anything.
And we do hope that the institution is reflecting on these very important points that you're making. But if we went by what transpired at the Senate yesterday, it appears that evidence is to the contrary. But closely related to Jeffrey's point is what I want you to speak to, Mr. Rafsanjani, and which is the patriarchy that seems to be oozing out of the system in both comments and reactions to Senator Natasha-Akpabio's sexual harassment allegation. The use of women to work against what seems to be the biggest subject matter here, the female representation of Nigerian leaders, either at the Senate level or any other public institution in the first place. And I'll refer to just a few, Mr. Rafsanjani. The use of female protesters, and we know what the economy of protest is like in this country. It is called such for obvious reason. And the use of a woman to champion the recall process of Senator Natasha-Akpabio. One would say the use is debatable, but in the last 24 hours, there have been quotes as to what she has said in relation to that action. Just to mention a few, are you worried for what seems to be the use of women against their own interests? And are women representatives also thinking in that line? What impact would it have on female leadership in the near rather than far future?
No, these are paid agitators. These so-called women that you saw that are fighting, distinguished Senator Natasha, are actually paid agitators. They are contracted. It's transactional. It's not like based on any convention or based on any principle. It is purely they were paid. Everybody knows this. So it's not about things. So they then have the ideological, and the clarity of the fact that, look, what they are doing, they are actually even undermining themselves because, a lot of, people, especially some few men that are gender sensitive, that are interested in ensuring that they support the promotion of women or female leadership position. That action of some of those charlatans is really shocking. But I tell you, Nigerians know that those guys were paid, and we are not really surprised. So don't even count those one as a serious people. These are not people who really she cannot even, that woman that even led that, she cannot even go and contest election, or contest even local government or even councillor, because she did not have the political capital, she did not have the capacity to, do this. And to be a senator is not a joke. So I think, those people should not really worried about, about them because they are paid to do what they have done. And I can assure you that there are a lot of millions of women who are, in support of, Natasha, especially
all right, Mr.
Rafsanjani. That she.
Just land on your thought in 10 seconds.
Sorry, you said?
I said just land on your thoughts in 10 seconds because of time.
Okay, my own appeal to Nigerian men, especially the Nigerian politician men, is to say that, look, we have come to an age that we need to give space for women to contribute to the development of our country. We cannot be those, tactics that have been used to deprive, repress, oppress women from participating in governance. I think this is the message that I want to give, and let the women be more resilient. Let them continue to show capacity. Let them continue to show that they can actually make the difference, not just that because they are women, but they have actually what it takes to give, to contribute.
Great message, Mr. Rafsanjani. Thank you so much for your thoughts and your insight. Executive Director, CISLAC, that's Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Mr. Awal Rafsanjani, joining us virtually. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll get to the very next leg of the conversation. Join us again.